Hey girl. So today I'm doing something a little different on my channel. This is something that I have started to see other creators starting to tap into. This is called a pod vlog, where you get to showcase your vlog footage, but then also have a voiceover like this where I can just kind of chat with you guys. So today I wanted to do something slightly different because I'm gonna just be completely honest with you guys. I have just become bored of creating my YouTube videos. What I'm learning is that when you reach a certain stage in your journey, so after you've been doing all the work to kind of hit those first milestones, so like the first thing is, oh, can I get 500 YouTube subscribers? You hit that and then you feel great, and then you hit the, can I get the 1,000 YouTube subscribers? And then you hit that milestone, and then can I get monetized? And I've hit all of those things, and now I'm at a little over 2,000 subscribers, and you get this momentum going. But then what I have quickly realized is that you are constantly evolving with the type of content that you are creating. And until you figure out what your signature content style is, you will start to feel, at least in my experience, you will kind of become bored. More specifically, if you are in like the education space. And I think that this only applies to the creators who, you may be an entrepreneur, but you may also be a creator. Like, you desire to be a content creator. You desire to be that YouTube girly that creates the vlogs and the lifestyle content. But then you also have a business and you want to create educational content to kind of serve your audience and give back to your community. So I find that if you are in that kind of situation, the educational content can kind of be boring at some point. And you will kind of want to do more, but you don't know if your channel is ready for more than what you're offering. Because I know for me, I always advise, like, don't start off with the vlogs, girl. I know you want to do it at the beginning, but ain't nobody checking for what you're doing every single day. So just be careful with the vlogs. But at some point in your YouTube journey, it's time to kind of invite people into your world. And that's when those vlogs and the more sit down and kind of being open and honest with your audience about what you have going on and just letting them in a little bit more, that's when that kind of content becomes a lot more valuable. So after hitting my milestones, I continued to try to ramp out or pump out different content pieces. And I knew deep down, like, you are posting the content, but you're losing your motivation or the inspiration to continue posting this type of content. And if you don't change, you're going to hit a place where you're not really going to want to post anything. Because in the space, I'm teaching YouTube tips, I'm teaching entrepreneurial type stuff, teaching you about podcasting. And ultimately, my goal is to teach women entrepreneurs how to create a legacy for themselves, create a brand that will allow you to always be remembered. And I'm going to go into a whole nother video explaining the direction that I'm going with my mission and all these other things. But just in short, I want more. I want you guys to want more. And so for the month of May, because the content that you're going to be seeing in this pod vlog is just different things that I've been doing in May and just different things that I've been working on my day to day. But I have been redefining how I want my content to look. I have been redefining what I want to include in my content. And I've even watched some content creators who have been very vulnerable on their platforms. I can't say that I'm there yet. I can't say that I'm there yet, but like, they are giving you real tea on what's going on with them personally, like their business ventures. And I find that I struggle with that because I feel the fear of being judged, even though when I do release different things that are going on with me, I realize that I'm not the only one that's dealing with certain things. So that's something internally that I've been working on. But one of the biggest things is embracing my experiences, especially in entrepreneurship. I struggle with constantly feeling like I'm a failure or that I'm never doing enough. I'm always beating myself up and being like, Shonda, you should be doing more. You should be, posting 1,200 times a day versus what you're doing, or you should be posting more video content, or you should be doing your podcast by now, or it's always something more that I feel like I should be doing. And sometimes my fiance has to like bring me back and be like, look, you doing great. Like, stop beating yourself up about what you're doing. Like, you're doing what you should be doing. Give yourself some grace. And I think that I'm always pushing myself because I have such a fear of failure. And I have to learn to embrace the fact that I am going to fail and I am not exempt from failing. So there's been many ventures in my entrepreneur journey where things ain't went the way I wanted them to go. Like it just didn't work out. It didn't hit the way I thought it was going to hit. And I always felt secretly embarrassed because for some reason I have this persona that I've put on myself where everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be presented a certain way. I don't fail. Like that's not me. Even though girl, I be failing. If y'all only knew the different things that I have dipped my toes in, and I'm just like, that didn't really work the way I wanted. But I realized that it took for all of those different things to happen for me to be where I am today. And if I didn't learn anything else out of any of the failures that I've ever had throughout the years, is that I am not the only one. And two, you have to fail if you want to succeed. You have to fail. You have to try that thing and realize, okay, look, this ain't for me. I thought it was, but it's not, so that you can move on to the next thing. And that's the only way that you're really going to be able to perfect your craft. That's the only way that you're going to be able to make those necessary pivots and not go on certain journeys that you thought were for you that are really not for you. There's so much that you learn in failure, but when you put your head in the sand and try to pretend like it didn't happen or that it doesn't exist, I find that it begins to eat you up inside. And you begin to feel like you're the only one that's failing. And especially with social media right now, it seems like everybody is making it. It seems like everybody is living a luxury lifestyle. It seems like everybody is just doing all the things perfectly. And one of the things that I struggle with is, I've had the goal to hit 6 figures in my business since I became an entrepreneur, and I have yet to hit that thing. I have yet to hit it. But when you see content on platforms like YouTube or Instagram or wherever, and it's like, obviously they're highlight reels of certain things or certain information, but it's easy for you to find creators where they're like, oh, I just tried this thing and within 30 days, I hit $10,000 and now I'm making 10K months and da-da-da-da-da. And all I did was just, I was just curious and I just tried it and it just worked. And after you've been in the industry for a while, you kind of peep game, when people are kind of like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like they ain't really telling the whole truth, or maybe they're exaggerating, or maybe they did hit it, but everybody's story is different. Just because one person did it a certain way does not mean that you gonna do it that way. And you have to be okay with that. And this is my version. This is why the Podvlog, I feel, is going to be almost refreshing and liberating for me to just be open and honest with you guys without feeling like I'm being judged, because I don't see myself on the camera. And this is an internal thing. I don't see myself on the camera. I feel like I'm just talking to a friend, and I really want to be able to share more than what I feel like I share on my platform. And that's why I'm glad that I have a YouTube channel. And if you are pursuing YouTube right now and maybe you're feeling defeated, because everybody that is on YouTube goes through that season of discouragement, they go through that season of wondering if they should continue doing this thing. Should I stick this out? Do I need to wrap this thing up and do something else? You are not exempt from going through that on YouTube. Even I have gone through it and continue to go through it here and there on this here channel, even with it being monetized. You have to be okay with experiencing that thing. And when you're going through those different things, you have to remember why you're doing it. And I think that's why I stay the course of pursuing YouTube specifically, because I know that I'm supposed to be here. I know that I'm supposed to be a creator. I know that I'm supposed to be a YouTube girly. I've known this for so many years. At this point, over a decade. With all of the different channels that I've had over the years, I knew that I was supposed to be on YouTube, but I just kept playing. And you hit this stage in your YouTube journey where it's easy for you to turn around and go the other way. But what about your legacy? What about the life-changing situation that you've envisioned for you and your family? What about all of those opportunities that God has put in your heart that you know are out there for you, but because you have not built a platform for yourself, you are still not in position to get those opportunities that you have envisioned for yourself? So at some point, despite any type of failure that you have, whether it's on YouTube, whether it is with your podcast, whether it is through your business, regardless of what it is, you have to make the decision that you're going to do this despite any of the failures that you experience, but also be willing to pivot, also be willing to perfect your craft, also be willing to give it 110%, because if you don't, then you can start experiencing things that could have been prevented because you became stagnant. And that's where I am right now with this YouTube channel specifically. I don't want to become stagnant. And there's so many people on YouTube teaching YouTube. And I'm like, how can I be different? What can I create on this channel that is different? The talking head videos are okay, but what can I do that is different? And instead of me beating myself up because I'm not confident in the aesthetic, I guess you can call it, of my house is not the worst looking house ever. It's actually a brand new build, but at the same time, it's not where I want it to be. It's not the aesthetic that I want on my YouTube channel. And that expectation is only created from watching other people's content. It's not people in my comments like, girl, what you got going on in your house? It's all self-inflicted expectations that I have put on myself to prevent me from showing up at the capacity that I truly desire to show up. And so this is my way of making a change on my channel. I plan on creating a lot more of vulnerable types of content that's not necessarily about YouTube tips or not necessarily even about being an entrepreneur, just allowing myself to shine a little bit more and be more open with the things that I would like to share and help you guys with. Because sometimes you just need to be heard. Sometimes you just need to feel seen. And if I haven't learned anything else throughout this month with looking at certain creators who created whole YouTube videos about their business failing or about them quitting their job to pursue YouTube or quitting their job to pursue entrepreneurship and having to go back to a 9-to-5. People on YouTube posting about the fact that they lost everything or they almost lost everything from pursuing their vision and pursuing their entrepreneurship journey, and they're starting over. And I feel that it is so important to see those type of things sometimes when whatever it is that you're dealing with, like seeing other people who are bold enough to be honest about what's going on in their life, because it makes you feel seen, like you're not the only one. In 2024 and this year that we're in right now, I know that there are some people that are doing well, but trust and believe there are some people that are also struggling. So it's easy, especially when you're in a coaching space specifically. It seems like everybody is making it. It seems like everybody is doing it and doing well and hitting all of these numbers. But I'm telling you, there are also some coaches. There are also some experts. There's also some freelancers who are not doing well. And they're wondering how we about to do this for another month? Like, do I need to get on Indeed? I've had moments like that in this year where I'm like, I might need to go on and revise my application or revise my resume, because it's so up and down right now. And one of the things that I found that was discouraging me this month in May specifically was the fact that there's a shift that's happening in the coaching space, and there's a shift that's happening with educational content and digital marketing. And I feel like that's a whole nother video that I would like to create as well, with like the MRR courses popping up on the scene. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically like these courses that gives you the master resale rights so that you can either resell them on your own platform, or you can utilize the information inside of the course and create your own digital products or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I think that it is smart, but at the same time, it is creating a shift, because now people are classifying some of that as scams. Like, people are positioning themselves as experts even though they're not. It's just a whole thing that's going on. But then you also have the people that are experiencing coaching burn, or coach hurt, where they've been in coaching programs, they've been coached by certain people, and they didn't get the experience, or they didn't get the results that they were promised, essentially. Or maybe they didn't get the support that they were expecting to get. Or maybe they purchased a course or purchased whatever, and they didn't even implement any of the stuff that they learned in the course, or they ain't even finished the dang on course. So there's a lot of that coming up in the online space, and a lot of people sharing their stories, and people are hesitant now to purchase educational content and educational programs. I feel like I'm rambling, but I promise you that I hope well, I can't say I promise you. I hope that this is helping somebody, because this is my way of being vulnerable with you guys and knowing that you're not alone. Like, just letting you know that if you have been pursuing YouTube, pursuing your business, and maybe you are hitting some stagnant places, maybe you are confused and not knowing what you want to do moving forward, or what path you want to take moving forward, just know that it's a season, but allow yourself the grace to pause, reflect, and make a decision on what you want to do moving forward. A little bit of what I am doing moving forward, and I'm trying to debate if I want to end it with this. I am planning on getting more creative over here. So you're going to see different types of content. I'm going to be incorporating B-roll a little bit more over here, so that way I can kind of spice up my videos, and just different things that I have in place that I'm going to be playing around with, just to kind of showcase my creative side a little bit more. But I'm also going to be bringing back my podcast. I have been wanting to do my podcast for so long. Like, it has been pulling at my heart for quite some time, and I haven't allowed myself to relaunch it officially, because it has to be rebranded, because I'm changing the name of the podcast and the cover and all these things. And so one of the things that I kept going back and forth about with my podcast is, do I want to do a video podcast, or do I want to do a audio only podcast? And as I was preparing today for this pod vlog, I was like, well, let me just do the pod vlog. Let's just see how it feels. And then I will kind of make my decision off of that, because being an educator in the space is beneficial for me to have a video podcast, because I do recommend you have a video podcast if you're looking for exposure. But it's something about being able to just hop in the chair with your mic without having to worry about how you look, how you're presenting yourself on camera. It just is a lot easier. I'm like, if I could do a podcast audio only, for one, typically when you're listening to a podcast, it's through audio only. I mean, I listen to some podcasts through video, but most of the time I'm listening to podcasts through audio only. But then two, it's going to be a lot easier for me to pump out, y'all. So done is better than perfect. That's what I'm learning. And then to wrap up with the YouTube, one other thing that I wanted to hit on before I hop off of here is that slow and steady is better than fast and sloppy. So I found that when I was trying to keep up with posting twice or 3 times a week, the quality, in my opinion, was lower, because I knew I had to get the content out faster. So that meant I had to edit and hit certain deadlines. And it just felt like, even though I was getting content out, for one, to me, it was not sustainable, because the moment I needed to work on other projects inside of my business, it was like the schedule just went up in the air. Like, try to get that one video up because you ain't about to get no 3. But slow and steady, I feel, is better when you know that you're going to be here for a while. Like, you're going to be here for a while. I think posting multiple times per week on YouTube is great at the beginning. After you get used to the process of creating content on YouTube and you know your flow, you've created a workflow for yourself, and you're looking to hit that first 1,000 and get monetized. Like, when you're trying to get 1,000 subscribers and get monetized, I feel you need to be posting at least 2 to 3 times per week, because YouTube is going to drastically push your content faster if you are posting that frequent. But once you hit those thresholds and now you're getting paid regardless, I feel that it's okay to go down to posting once a week and start setting up different back-end things to make sure that you're optimizing your YouTube channel to the fullest. So at this stage now, I'm like, okay, so I've gotten used to posting the content. I've gotten familiar with how I want my videos to come out as far as the talking head. Now I'm ready to be creative. I feel like this is almost like a vent session because I've never done a pod vlog before, but I hope that you enjoyed listening to this. And if you want me to create more content in this style, please let me know in the comments, because that would mean so much to me to know that this was helpful. But until next time, I'll see you in another video.